This just might be the best budget-friendly guitar I've ever tried on this channel. It's the Eart Stratocaster. I don't know how to say that name. It just looks brilliant. I mean, it's insane. Before we get to looks and a certain problem that this guitar had, this guitar cost 269 euros. It's book match roasted mahogany, the body, roasted maple neck. I don't think that looks roasted. Rosewood fretboard, dual action truss rod, compound U to C neck profile, Eart custom ceramic Eart custom ceramic pickups, medium jumbo stainless steel frets. Now, like I said, it looks brilliant. Start with the trem block. It's that big kind of thing, which is way better always. Says quality. The tuners, they look really nice. They're made in Korea, by the way. They point that out on the website. The pick guard looks a bit weird. It's a bit green. I don't know how that will translate to YouTube. And then we have the neck. The grain of the wood looks quite nice. But the frets. Stainless steel frets for this price. Nice. And the fret job. It's insane. I've never seen any budget-friendly guitar look like this. The fret ends are rounded. It just looks brilliant. And here's a problem. A couple of the frets were a bit buzzy and I couldn't fix that. So I took one of these. It's a fret rocker and it had a bit of an issue with a fret being slightly taller than a fret next to it, which creates buzz. And I've sometimes complained about fret sprout on this channel, but that's an easy enough fix. It takes about 15 minutes if you know what you're doing and if you have the tools. I still maintain that fret sprout is not something that beginners should be dealing with. You buy a guitar, you want to play it. You don't want to be fixing it up, learning how to fix up stuff. But this was a slightly bigger problem. Not something I could fix. So I gave it to my luthier friend who's next door, and he fixed the problem. He filed down the frets and recrowned them. Now some of you might be thinking, but if the fret job was that good, isn't it his fret job then? It looked exactly the same out of the box. So he didn't have to round out the ends. He just filed down the frets, made them even, and recrowned them. That kind of a job costs $80 to $120, or was it $150, depending upon who you take it to. So let's just say $100 added to the price. That would mean it's $369, not $269. And a bit of hassle. Was it terrible? No, it was not terrible. It was not unplayable. You could play it, just a bit buzzy at a couple of spots. Some of you might be thinking as well that this is a complete deal breaker. And I would agree, except for a certain fact. Here are just two guitars that I reviewed on this channel, which later have developed the same issue. I noticed it while selling one of the guitars that I reviewed and noticing it buzzed and using a fret rocker on that and saying to the guy who bought it, okay, this has this issue, and I discounted the price. And then I went through all of the guitars I have here, and was it 5 out of 7 budget-friendly guitars that I have lying around here have that issue. They've developed it after I've reviewed them, which is a very good reason to buy second-hand guitars, because they've already had all their infancy issues, and that's a very good reason also to try before you buy. But let's get back to the Eart. So what we're left with is this guitar that looks absolutely brilliant, that I had to pay more for than I thought I would have to pay for it. So I had to pay $369 instead of $269 to get a guitar in working order. But that's still, if I draw the line at 400 euros, that's budget friendly for me. Oh, and before we get going, I would like to say that this video is sponsored by the good people who support me over on Patreon. Thank you for that. I buy the gear that I review, so you get an honest review. You can check that out. There's a link in the description to my Patreon. You get access to my music, lessons, a bunch of exclusives. You can even take that stuff for free if you want to. Please check it out. But above all, thank you to everyone who supports me. So, sounds. I'm using my Marshall Plexi, which isn't entirely clean. One thing I like is that this tone pot is wired to the bridge pickup, so you can get kind of Jeff Becky type stuff slightly easier. Adding a bit of overdrive from the Noble's ODR1. Okay, let's see how it stays in tune when you use the whammy bar. This is how it's in tune now. Actually, let's tune it up. It even withstood that. Wow! So what do I think? This just might be the best budget-friendly guitar I've ever tried on this channel. Even despite it having that fret problem. Now why do I say that? The fret problem, don't get me wrong, it's a big deal and I understand if it's a deal breaker for you. But if I take one of these 5 guitars here that have this very same fret problem, so if I take the Eart Strat for instance, which I didn't like at all when I reviewed it and had it fixed, I would still have a guitar that I wouldn't like. It's still a poor guitar. Whereas with this, you fix it up and you have a brilliant guitar. It might be just that I just was unlucky with this. I don't know if you buy 10 of these, how many will have that problem. Maybe it's not the best one that I've had on this channel. Thinking about it slightly more closely, I've had a few really good ones. But this is right up there with the best ones. Actually, maybe it is the best one. Because the Harley Benson Les Paul that I have had to swap out pickups. This sounds like a Strat. It's a bit bright for my settings. Because my Strats have slightly darker pickups. But the way this looks and sounds and feels, the specs, just brilliant stuff. And it's up to you to make up your own mind if that fret problem is a deal breaker. I really didn't realize that it was so common that I have 7 guitars here and 5 of them have that problem. Not huge, not like it's dead notes type stuff, but buzzy. And the fret rocker reveals that there's bits of rocking going on, which means that one of the frets is sticking out slightly. You live and learn. But this is so good that even though I have a bunch of Strats, I'm actually tempted to keep this. It's that good. And they didn't send me this guitar, I bought it. No one's paying me to say this. The only thing that's off about this guitar is that this pickguard looks a bit green. And the fret issue was a real bummer. Now that that's fixed, killer guitar. Really nice. If you want to check out other cheap alternatives, there's a video here. And please join my Patreon, you get access to lessons, music and a bunch of exclusives. There's a link in the description to that. Have a nice day, take care. Goodbye!